There's a lot of advice on YouTube for computer science students, and as a first-year computer science student, I think it might be interesting to go through and give it my thoughts. I graduated high school with an associate's degree. I just finished my first semester of university, so this isn't a completely fresh perspective, but as I look forward to my actual computer science classes, as I got all those core requirements out of the way, what will I be able to implement that I don't already know? So I have a roundup of Tech with Tim, Forrest Knight, Clement, a couple other tech YouTubers, and I'm gonna see what they have to say about majoring in computer science. I wonder if any of them will tell me to drop out and just go to a boot camp. Wouldn't be surprised. The first person on the chopping block is Tech with Tim, and I really liked his advice. He is currently a computer science student ahead of me, and obviously his programming skills far outclass my beginner pitiful skills, but I really liked his advice, and from a student perspective I agree with most of it.
The first week of school, every week, what I do in my strategy is I go to class, and rather than listen for all the course content, I do that a bit, what I do is I evaluate my professor, and I determine whether or not this person is an effective teacher, so that I know whether I'm going to go to their class for the rest of the year or not.
The first point of his that really stood out to me is he said that on the first day, I find this hilarious because I kind of do the same thing. On the first day of classes, he analyzes the teacher to figure out whether or not they're going to be worth his time. He said it a lot nicer than that, but that's what he said. And if he decides that they're not worth his time, they're not a good enough teacher, then he will teach himself. And that is fantastic, and it is so enabled by COVID, because even if they require attendance, a lot of these lower level classes, it's like 5-10% for attendance and participation, which, like, I hate that, but it is what it is. With COVID, you're on a Zoom call, you join the Zoom call, mic off, camera off. They force you to put your camera on. Guess what? I have my webcam on top of my monitor, and I have the Zoom thing on the other monitor. That's a personal tip of mine, is get a second monitor. But if you're a computer science student, you don't need to hear that. Anyways, yeah, so, like, it is so easy to teach yourself so many of these, especially entry-level concepts. Once you get into the super theoretical stuff that's really only exists in an academic setting, I can see how that might change, but I haven't been there yet, so I might be wrong. I remember in high school and middle school, I would get in so much trouble in math for doing the entire packet in the first 20 minutes of class that we were supposed to do for 2 or 3 classes, and then my partner would join me, and I would be like, I can either teach you or I can give you the answers, your choice, because I was pretty generous with my answers. But if they really wanted to learn, then I would help them. I wasn't just gonna sit there. But yeah, no, they didn't like that. Good thing in college it's a little bit easier to get away with. Another thing that he mentions is the stress-free hustle that he goes through, which for me kind of ties back to a book I read and highly recommend. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. One of those habits is put first things first, and it breaks productivity up into these 4 quadrants. There is urgent and not urgent, and important and not important. So Tim kind of said is that he keeps everything off of his plate, and he doesn't have to stress. He never goes to sleep like, oh, I didn't study for that test, I have to do that entire project tomorrow, even though he has a full-time job on his YouTube channel, and he's a student. It's a remarkable feat of productivity, and he doesn't endure stress because he does it right. He talks about some of the ways that he does it right in his video, so again, it's going to be linked down below. I would highly recommend you go check it out. But I really think it's important for people to know, because I've had a lot of my friends come up to me like, Alex, they call me a machine, they call me a robot, and that's so egotistical to be putting on a YouTube channel. I do acknowledge that, but it's true. I get called those things because I'm up early, I go to the gym, and then I do school, and then I'm always working on side projects and multiple jobs and all this stuff. I'm always moving. And I'm like, how do you do it? Are you stressed? And I still get good grades. And I'm like, I'm not stressed. I get stuff done. If you get stuff done, you're not going to be stressed. It's when you don't get stuff done that chaos engulfs your life. Jordan Peterson, one of the best YouTube philosophers. I don't even know. He's in a class of his own. I'll link some of his stuff. I made YouTube videos about him, but I think I unlisted them. So I'll link them down just so if you're interested, you can check them out. But Jordan Peterson is, if you want to talk about the stuff that Tim was just talking about, and I do too, on a philosophical level, if that interests you, Jordan Peterson is the person to go to. Now, a couple of other things he mentions. He says, do good on the little stuff, which I can really struggle with because sometimes, kind of like how Tim said, he'll be like, this class isn't really worth going to. I'd rather teach myself stuff. And I understand that. Like I said, I do it myself. Sometimes that mentality, I personally can take it too far where I'm like, that quiz, I don't need to study for that quiz. That class is BS. And then guess what? You don't study. There's some really nuanced question that you would have known if you were paying attention, but you don't know because you decided the class was a waste of your time. And you've kind of failed that stuff. Now, I still got straight A's my first semester, but I definitely got a few A minuses that could have easily been A's. Like, within 1 point, if I just did mildly better on a couple of assignments that I let slip. So, being disciplined with those little things is something I'm personally going to be working on in the spring semester. And then Tim also said that you should make friends and use that network of people. Must be nice. So the next person is going to be Forrest Knight, but this video is really long and it's more of a Q&A, so I'm going to watch it later, but I don't really think it would be good for content in this video. That being said, nice computer in the background. Okay, so the first thing that Forrest Knight, I don't know his real name at all, so I'm just going to call him Forrest Knight. The first thing that he said is to focus solely on your coursework, and I don't know if I agree with that. So I'm going to kind of deconstruct what he said here. So he said pick a vertical and go really deep into that vertical, in that he was really chaotic doing WordPress, iOS development, full stack, all these things that really he should have just picked something and driven into it. But the way he says it is to focus solely on your schoolwork, and that's kind of under the assumption that your schoolwork is going to know what vertical is best for you to learn. And I understand that there is definitely some value in picking a learning path, period. Course, boot camp, university, whatever it is, just picking that and having faith in it, seeing it through to its end, because you really don't know the full picture until you're done with it. So I understand that coursework should definitely be a priority and you should be committed to it, and your projects on the side should never overlap, or not overlap, but because they should overlap, really. There should be some overlap, but they should never take over your coursework. You're paying to go to university. You should want to go to university. But I think that having projects on the side, especially for things like resumes and personal just interest and passion, to kind of keep that going in the creative space of software engineering or development, then I think there's some value there that shouldn't be forgotten. I mean, I'm a little biased here. I've been working a job since middle school, combined like school and that job. That job for a long time overshadowed the effort that I put into high school. I mean, I'm talking like 40 hours a week between the weekend and weeknights working, and then also doing schoolwork and also doing AP classes and stuff my sophomore year and freshman year. So I'm definitely biased here. My first semester, I would come home every weekend. I would work Saturday, Sunday. I would make YouTube videos. So maybe I'm a little bit more from Tim's mindset of figure out if this class is going to be worth it, and then do well in it, put effort into it, but have your own stuff going on the side. Tim, his YouTube channel, for me, that's kind of just learning whatever the hell I'm interested in. I'm trying, one of my goals from the beginning of the semester was to actually consolidate, so similar to Forrest Knight's advice here, my goals for the beginning of the semester was to consolidate a lot of this passionate energy that I had that was driving in all these different directions, but it wasn't going anywhere in any one of those directions, and kind of combining it into one side hustle, one hobby. I saw another video of his, and he mentioned a couple of things. One of the main ones being, don't treat college like high school. And I think that's interesting, because for me, I think a lot of my problem in high school was I was kind of treating it like college. So that's interesting, because when you look at what I did in college, I kind of brought the Tech with Tim mentality that we were talking about to my high school classes, and they do not like that. They don't like it. If you're a prospective high school student, do not do that if you care about your GPA. Even if you know all the stuff, it's just not going to help you out. So I think that's interesting. I kind of flipped it on its head. And the final video is going to be by Tren Black, a short little animated video. And Tren Black is by far one of my favorite YouTubers in the tech space. Watching his videos from about a year ago remind me so much of where I am today, and the fact that he got into Fang after coming from a similar spot to where I am kind of gives me some hope. And I know in one of his videos on his vlog channel, he mentioned how people were going up to him and being like, "Why, you got into Fang? I can get into Fang." That is not what I just said just now. If you're watching this, that is not what I meant. But you do go to Arizona State University, which you refer to as like a lower middle end state school. I go to like a middle end private school. Does private public matter anymore? I don't even know. It's just like a thing that people say. Anyways, point is, I'm not going to a top school. I'm not going to a top computer science program. Computer science is like an afterthought in my school because I came in as a business student. I could make an entire YouTube video, and I'm planning on making a YouTube video. So if you want to watch it, like, comment, subscribe. I could make an entire YouTube video about how not to major in computer science, and it would be a biography. Forrest Knight actually mentioned a similar thing, how CS is not programming. And I think that's interesting. It's kind of, I remember when I was first thinking about computer science back in high school, because CS and economics were the majors that I were thinking about, and I wound up getting into a better economics school than I did a computer science school, so I went to the school that was best for my major. Now I wound up switching from economics to computer science, and I'm a lot happier, and I'm pretty sure, like, I'm 99% confident that I'm gonna stay here. I wasn't as confident on econ. And it's kind of weird because I went from a pretty good undergraduate econ program to a not so hot comp sci program. But hey, CS, it's almost a blessing and a curse that it's not all programming, because you'll be able to teach yourself programming, and if you're capable of doing that, then the opportunities will be open to you.
4 stages to learning AI. Excitement to learn AI. Thinking you understand AI. Realizing you don't understand AI. Realizing literally nobody understands AI.
You mean that my month of learning machine learning over this winter hasn't made me a machine learning and artificial intelligence expert? Alright, so I'm recording this clip just in case I didn't include any of the stuff of my reaction to Tren Black's actual video, because there wasn't as much actual advice on the computer science major as much as it was a joke, and I don't want to just play his video back here because my response to the jokes won't exactly make sense without seeing the video. So there's no way to like sync that up, and I'm not trying to go code something where you can watch a reaction video and the actual video at the same time. Hey, it might be a good resume project.
It's shit. I learned this the hard way by going through the 4 stages to learning AI. Excitement to learn AI. Thinking you understand AI. Realizing you don't understand AI. Realizing literally nobody understands AI. Which brings us to lesson 2. Don't fucking talk about AI. Alright, you ready for lesson 3? You're not as smart as you think you are. I swear, take the top 50 most pretentious.
But no. So in case I did cut all of that and I chose to leave the simping for Tren Black in the video, then that was my decision, and I think this video is long enough. So thank you for watching this video, and let me know, was this video cheap? Was it too easy? I tried to do it in a manner that wasn't so much just like replaying, like it's not a pure reaction as much as a commentary, like tying multiple creators, and point is I wanted to add some sort of value. If you think I did that, leave a comment down below. If you don't think I did that, then also please leave a comment down below. Tell me. I won't make any more of these. I want to make sure I'm providing some level of value, as much as a first-year computer science student can. But if you do think it was half decent, then I can do more too. I can do reacting to people who are telling me that I should go to a boot camp instead of getting an actual computer science major, which they're probably right. I could react to people talking about, like, I don't know, different things related to the computer science, data science, student-ish field, you know, the field that I encompass. So yeah, let me know in the comment section down below, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.